Alrighty, what is quacking, everyone? The Nintendo Switch Direct just wrapped up, and we got some fire games, I would say. This Direct definitely was one of the Directs where I'm not going to play all these games, but definitely these games interested me to a point where they'll be in the back of my head and I might try them out or pick them up if I'm bored. One of the biggest ones for me was the Pac-Man Metroidvania. That thing looked insane and wild. It's just this dark fantasy Pac-Man Metroidvania. You confuse. They don't call it Pac-Man. They call it Puck. But it's just this Pac-Man's just this avatar, and it follows you around, and you confuse with Pac-Man and start fighting stuff. You get to turn into a mech and just fight things. And it looks really cool and well done as like just a Pac-Man Metroidvania. It's very nice and it looks very interesting. Then there was Story of Seasons, which was the only farming sim, if I recall, that's their farming. So Story of Seasons, it's just your stereotypical Stardew Valley. That's pretty much it. There's like some AI detective, Dante detective or whatever, some AI detective, and like it looked really wacky, kind of interesting. There was some girl in like a bunny outfit, I think. So that looked very wacky and silly as a detective game. Then there's like an Atlas remake of like a Demon Summoner detective game as well. That looked cool. I love Persona, so I'm sure I would like this one. It had your Atlas staple demons that they put in every game, your Jack Frosts and stuff like that they showed in the trailer. I forgot what that little green sack thing's name. It's like Moikai or whatever I think it's called. I think it's like a cut off limb or something. I don't know. Like the top of its head's like red, but it's like all green. So it had like its your staple Atlas, demons in it, and it looked pretty interesting. We also have Witchbrook, which is made by Chucklefish, so it has like that similar pixelated design and stuff like that Stardew Valley has, and all the Chucklefish games kind of have. And it looks very good. It looks like Harry Potter. It's multiplayer as well. It's just like Harry Potter without J.K. Rowling. And they said that like you start at the wizard school or whatever, but then I think they have it so like after you graduate and stuff, you can still play kind of like an endless repay. Like it's just kind of like an endless thing. You keep going. I'm sure like at some point like the content just stops and it's just like whatever, like you just do the daily stuff. But overall, it looks pretty solid and interesting and like fun. They showed like flying around on brooms and stuff as well. So that looked good. It looked very solid. I think the only thing that I didn't care about that was on here was just some random Disney cafe villain thing where you just like brew drinks for the Disney villains. That just looked like some weird one-off thing. Something that also did look interesting as well is there's like some old man Metroidvania game. It has like similar art style to Cuphead, and you like upgrade his cane and just beat things up. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool looking. There was a couple rhythm games as well. There was a Necrodancer, which looked pretty cool as a rhythm game. It's like a rhythm battle dancer thing. And then there's a new Rhythm Haven game that we're getting that looked absolutely cute and adorable and fun to play. So yeah, a couple rhythm games looking pretty good. We also getting a Gradius remake, or not remake, but we're getting like a Gradius collection as well. I like that was like a nostalgia hit for me because I used to play Gradius all the time with my family, and Gradius is just a very fun game. If you don't know what it is, it's like a bullet hell ship game where you just fly around in a ship in like a 2D like linear space and you just keep going forward as you shoot around. It's pretty fun. I enjoyed it a lot as a kid, so I'm probably gonna pick that up and play it in my free time. There's also a couple other games we're getting. Everybody Golfs from Capcom, which looks goofy, looks fun. Like it's definitely, golf games these days it's pretty interesting how a lot of companies just like do different takes on golf. You have Mario Golf and then Everybody Golfs, and then you obviously have your 2K golfing, which is just generic golfing. But I do find it funny how like a lot of gaming companies, when they make golf games, it's just like really funny, wacky golf games with like abilities and stuff. I find that very enjoyable. And then we got some big hitters as well. We got ourselves Metroid Prime 4. I didn't expect any super mega hitters besides Metroid Prime 4 and Legends ZA. So we got Metroid Prime 4, which we all knew was coming. They were just giving us, an update. Samus has new abilities. It's like a psychic ability where you use it to move different objects and stuff like that. It looks like it's going to be very interesting for puzzling around the island. Instead of just using like Samus's upgrades now, we have like, you know, this new psychic upgrade, which looks very cool. And it looks like it's going to add a lot more depth to it. And then we got some look at the new enemies as well. And one of the biggest things that I noticed was the gunplay. It looked like that they really did a good job at the locking on feature and how the gun functions. So it's not like some weird wacky mess or whatever. Metroid Prime 1, like on the GameCube, I'm not talking about the remake, but the GameCube, like, was kind of like weird shooting in that game for me, if I remember correctly. I did play the remake a little bit, and the remake, you know, the gunplay felt a lot better, but I would say the GameCube, like even locking on and stuff like that, it felt just slightly janky. So it's nice to see that, you know, the new, like the gunplay in Metroid Prime 4 looks pretty good. And at the end, they tease like a new Samus suit or whatever. So I'm excited for that. I never played Metroid Prime 2 or 3 though, so I might have to, you know, replay all those or like play them for the first time. Probably when, you know, my summer vacation from college classes comes around. But we also got Pokemon ZA. Now, when they showed ZA, they just showed all the like cute stuff, and you know, for the Pokemon Day stuff, they just showed us, you know, the cute Pokemon, all the different things or whatever the daytime. This, they showed us a new mechanic, the nighttime mechanic, where the entire city just turns into a battle royale. If you're walking around and someone spots you, they're gonna battle you. You can run up to people and battle. And they just kind of showed like the duality of it. They're like, during the daytime, you catch and it's all cool and fun. But at nighttime, you battle people. You take on that battle royale. You get your #1 victory royale and you drink your slurp juice out of like 10 gallon cans. Like, that's what you do. So that was pretty interesting about Pokemon ZA, is seeing all that. The game looks pretty decent as well, art style wise and stuff like that. It seems like they did a good job on the characters. And they also like showed the ranks, which I guess is why it might be called Pokemon ZA, is because like as you rank up with the Battle Royale mechanic, you start at rank Z and you go to rank A. When I say Battle Royale, this isn't against people, it's just against NPCs. So it's just like a single player Battle Royale type thing, I guess. At least that's like the best way I can describe it, is once you go at night, you just go around fighting people. So it looked interesting overall. Looked like, you know, it's pretty fleshed out. Since you're confined to the city, it really seems like they're fleshing out this city and doing a lot with the city, which is pretty nice, I think. And then another, you know, I guess heavy hitting game. We haven't gotten one for 10 years. We got Tomodachi Life, which looks really goofy and cool. Like, I never played Tomodachi Life when it came out, but like we're getting a new one, and like you're just like on an island or whatever, and like it's just kind of wacky with the Miis and stuff. It looks interesting, looks goofy. I might play it if it has like some multiplayer features. It looks like it'd be fun with friends if that's like a thing. But they also chose this Nintendo Direct to hit us with some not game news, with just some Nintendo quality of life news as well. So we're getting these things called virtual game cards, which is kind of like, it's like digital games basically, but they're making it super consumer friendly, where when you download a digital game, you get this like virtual game card, and you could use that to transfer that game to let another system borrow it for up to 14 days. So if you have two systems and you're traveling, like let's say you have your Switch Lite and your regular Switch, you can just transfer it over when you're traveling. That's insane. That's really cool. That's really good. It makes, you know, traveling and, you know, the quality of life of that just so easy. So easy for people who travel all the time. You know, you're only at home for a little bit and then you just transfer it over and you're gone for a week. That is so easy and convenient to just transfer them over. You don't have to go through all the hassle of like the backup system stuff or whatever that you had to do. I had to do that back in 2023. I accidentally brought my Switch that wasn't my primary Switch, so there was a lot of games I couldn't play on my flights and stuff like that, and that was very annoying. I was also worried when I got to Riptide to compete, it wouldn't let me play Splatoon 3. Thankfully, it did let me play Splatoon 3 for some reason. I didn't get asked to like check or whatever, but it was nice that I could still like compete and play. But I was like trying to play like games I owned physically, and it just would not let me play them because it wasn't my primary Switch for some reason. So this sorts all of that out and fixes that. So you can just transfer games over, and it's nice. There's also you can do it locally as well, so you just put your Switch together, and on top of that, you can lend games out to families. So if you have a family plan and you're just buying games, like this is especially good for big families with kids. Like this was especially my family. Like we had 4 DSs for everybody in the house. Everyone had their own DS. Everyone had their own like game consoles and stuff like that for Nintendo handhelds. I had my 3DS. My brother had a 3DS. Like we had our own game consoles. So this is especially huge for like the person. If you're buying games for your family, you just lend them out to your kids. Oh, here you go. Here's this one for you. You only do one game at a time, which is whatever. You're only supposed to really be playing one game at a time. Like, I'm not saying like that's a rule or anything, but like typically you're only playing one game at a time in general. So you give one game out at a time. The games come back after 14 days, and this is just really consumer friendly. At the end of the day, being able to just transfer your games around like this, being able to loan them out to people and family, and even if you have like a group of friends, just get a family plan with a group of friends and just pass them out. Because I have friends who can't afford games, and they're not always able to play the newest games, especially like story games and stuff like that, or there's games they've never even played before, and I could just loan them out. And now with this, like, I play a lot of Splatoon. I'm a Splatoon comp player. If I'm trying to rope someone into Splatoon now, I can loan them my Splatoon 3. I'd be like, here you go. Play it. See if you like it. Enjoy it. So this is absolutely huge for getting people into games, like especially multiplayer games. Like if someone's never played Smash before, Splatoon, Mario Kart even. Mario Kart's a big one. So you can have people play these games. Maybe they'll end up buying it. Or, you're just playing with friends and it's so easy to just pass the games around, be like, oh, hey, I got this game. Oh, you can't afford it. Well, here you go. I'll let you play it, whatever, It is going to suck for larger scale games, though. Like if you have Xenoblade, for example, you're going to have to like hand that back once or twice because that game's long. I haven't played it yet, but I looked up how long to beat. It said like 60 to 70 hours. Yeah, you're probably not doing that in 2 weeks unless you're like absolutely no lifing the game every single day. But other than that, very huge, very consumer friendly, amazing. Another side note is a lot of these games were local co-op as well, like golf, Everyday Golfs, that was local co-op. And then there was like a Marvel beat 'em up game as well, that's local co-op. It's very nice to see that these games are still doing local co-op. Very, very good to have it, especially, like I said, these days people are living in apartments with their friends, people are still living with their families. So it's nice that people can just gather around, play these games in a local co-op setting. So it's very nice to see local co-op being supported still. And then finally, the last biggest piece of news that was from this Direct is we got a Nintendo News app. This is big and nice. So they talked about how, Nintendo Direct is, it's kind of just like been a thing. It's been like this huge thing, and it's been kind of like an event for them. But after this Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, they're moving to a it's called Nintendo Today. It's a news app where they're just going to give us daily updates on things. It doesn't sound like we're going to be getting like huge hitting news every day or just, whatever news. It sounds like we're going to get like little small, like fun things based around the games or whatever. It also functions as a calendar as well. So we're getting this news app, and it's how they're going to deliver all the news to us forward from now on, instead of just like, oh, we're gonna do this and that, and here's a Nintendo Direct. This is definitely probably to counteract a lot of leaks for the most part. I don't think they're gonna I think leaks are still gonna happen, but like this is definitely gonna be like one of the things they just use to just send out like news quicker. So yeah, I think like this is probably just like for to help with the leakage issue and just kind of getting news out to us faster. So it just kind of comes from them and them just like doing stuff. I think we're also they're gonna give us like just like kind of cute like little character updates or whatever, and just kind of like do just like little segments or whatever, I think, as well. So it's just gonna kind of be like an overall just like Nintendo news / cool Nintendo stuff every day. They're gonna try and do things daily, so that's pretty cool. I don't think that they're stopping the Nintendo Directs. From my understanding, they're just, it's like where they're going to announce this stuff. So Nintendo Today app, pretty cool that they're doing some of this new stuff. They're definitely transitioning and doing a lot of, obviously, like the consumer friendly stuff with the virtual game cards. That's my biggest thing right here is the virtual game cards. So yeah, it's all very, very cool, interesting stuff. It was a very solid Direct. Nothing crazy, but it was just a very, B plus, you know, direct. It was overall pretty good. Interesting games, new features and stuff like that. Very hyped for a lot of things. Nothing, obviously besides new game announcements, nothing super new. I think we're gonna get all the super new stuff next week, so that's gonna be coming. But let me know what you guys thought of Direct in the comments below. I will see you in the next one. Take care. Peace. Don't forget to subscribe.